Before the stars were born, before the sea had waves, before the first heartbeat of any creature, there was only God. He existed beyond time, beyond space, beyond matter. He had no beginning, and he will have no end. He was not lonely. He was not lacking. He was perfect in power, perfect in love, perfect in himself. But in his overflowing goodness, he chose to create. Let there be light. With those 4 words, the universe lit up with brilliance. Darkness fled. Light came dancing across the cosmos. It was the first day. On the second day, he formed the sky. The heavens stretched like a canvas over the earth. On the third day, he gathered the waters so that dry land appeared. He called the dry land earth and the water seas. From the ground, green things sprang up. Trees, plants, flowers, fruits of every kind, color, and flavor. Each one crafted with care. Each one beautiful. The fourth day, he filled the sky with light bearers. The sun to rule the day, the moon to rule the night, and stars, countless stars, flung across the vastness of space like diamonds scattered by his hand. On the fifth day, the waters came alive. Fish swimming, leaping, gliding. The skies were filled with birds, eagles soaring, sparrows singing, wings fluttering with joy. Then came the sixth day. He formed animals of every kind: lions, lambs, oxen, bears, rabbits, giraffes, wolves, all living in peace, all moving with purpose. And then, the crown of creation. God said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness." And from the dust of the earth, God formed a man, Adam, not merely a creature, but a reflection of the Creator. God bent down and breathed into Adam's nostrils the breath of life, and Adam became a living soul, filled with awareness, thought, feeling, and the capacity to love. But God saw it was not good for man to be alone, so he caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep. And from Adam's rib, God created a woman, Eve, a helper, a companion, a partner in purpose. When Adam awoke and saw her, he declared, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh." They were naked and unashamed. There was no fear, no guilt, no secrets between them. They walked freely in the Garden of Eden, paradise on earth. And even more precious than the beauty of Eden was the presence of God walking among them. God gave Adam and Eve purpose. They were called to care for the garden, name the animals, and rule over creation as stewards of the earth. Everything was theirs, except for one thing. At the center of Eden stood 2 trees, the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And God commanded, "You may eat from every tree in the garden, except the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. For in the day you eat of it, you shall surely die." Why would God place such a tree in the garden? Because love must be chosen. Trust must be tested. Obedience is only real when disobedience is an option. God didn't want robots. He wanted sons and daughters, people who would walk with him freely, by choice, not force. But love is always vulnerable to betrayal. One day, the serpent appeared. It was cunning, smooth, almost beautiful. But inside, it was filled with rebellion and darkness. It was Satan, the fallen angel who had once tried to overthrow heaven. Now, he sought to destroy what God loved most. He slithered up to Eve and whispered, "Did God really say, 'You must not eat from any tree in the garden'?" Eve replied, "We can eat from the trees, except the one in the middle. If we eat or touch it, we'll die." The serpent smiled, a deadly smile. "You will not surely die. God knows that when you eat it, your eyes will be opened. You will be like God, knowing good and evil." The word stirred a desire in Eve. not just for fruit, but for wisdom, power, independence. She reached out, took the fruit, and ate. Then she gave it to Adam, and he ate too. And in that moment, everything changed. Their eyes were opened, but what they saw was not glory. It was shame. They realized they were naked. They felt exposed. They were afraid. They sewed fig leaves together to cover themselves. And when they heard God walking in the garden, they hid. God called, "Adam, where are you?" It wasn't a question of location. It was a question of relationship. They had never hidden before. Adam responded, "I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." God asked, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree I commanded you not to eat?" Adam blamed Eve. Eve blamed the serpent. No one took responsibility. Sin had entered the world, and with it came separation, fear, death. God pronounced judgment. The serpent was cursed. The woman would bear children in pain. The man would toil and struggle with the ground. And from dust, he would return to dust. But even in this moment of rebellion, God did not abandon them. He made garments of skin for them, the first death to cover shame, a sacrifice, a foreshadow of what was to come. And he gave a promise. One day, the seed of the woman will crush the head of the serpent. Though you strike his heel, he will destroy you. A prophecy of Jesus Christ. This was the first whisper of redemption, that one would come to reverse the curse, to conquer sin, to bring humanity back to God. Adam and Eve were cast out of Eden. A flaming sword guarded the way to the tree of life. But the story wasn't over. Friend, this is not just their story, it's our story. We too have eaten forbidden fruit. We've chosen our own way over God's. We felt shame. We've hidden from our Creator. But God is still walking, still calling. Where are you? And He's still inviting us to come home. He sent Jesus, the seed of the woman, born of a virgin, tempted like us, but without sin. He took the curse, died on a tree, and rose again, so that we could walk again with God. Not in Eden, but in something better, a new heaven and a new earth, where there is no more death, no more sorrow, and we will see Him face to face. If this story stirred your heart, if something inside you longs to return to the garden, to be close to the God who made you, then come. You were created for more. You were not made for fear, for guilt, for hiding. You were made to walk with God. So today, say yes to the one who's still calling your name. For God so loved the world that He gave His only Son, that whoever believes in Him shall not perish, but have eternal life. John 3:16. Before you go, remember to subscribe to this channel for more life-changing Bible stories. Comment below. What part of this story spoke to your heart? Tap the bell so you never miss a future episode. Share this video with a friend. You never know whose life you might change. Thank you for listening. This is only the beginning.